What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Monday, June 9th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate, and I'll give you my dog of the day and pick out my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think has the highest chance of cashing today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally answer every comment every single day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, things got off to a very good start. We had the Tigers at minus 140. That was a solid 4-0 win. Flaherty was lights out. The Tigers gave him some decent run support in this game, and no problem there for Detroit to come away with the win. Unfortunately, the Astros at plus 130, as a significant underdog there, they did let us down. A 4-2 loss. Houston's bullpen couldn't hold it together after a good start, and Bybee had a very good start against us, so that was a little bit annoying. So a tough loss there. We bounced back quickly with the Giants at plus 100. That was a 4-3 win, so a close one. Roop was very good, and Strider continues to struggle to figure it out, so we pretty happy there with that Giants play. Now, the Angels at plus 124, another Sunday underdog, but they let us down as well. A tough 3-2 loss. Kirby finally figures things out somehow. Anderson was terrible, so despite a great game from the Angels bullpen, we end up taking the loss, so that was an annoying one as well. We had the White Sox at plus 130, a very good looking dog of the day. Unfortunately, that ended up being a 7-5 loss. Lorenzen had his first good start in quite some time. The White Sox couldn't find enough magic there in the 9th inning. They come away with a loss. We did nail our lock of the day once again, guys, hitting the Mets at minus 260. That was a 13-5 win there. The Mets offense got it going big time. Megill was serviceable over 5 good innings. That was really all they needed. So on 3-3 day, not exactly what we were looking for, but cashing the lock of the day always feels nice. So we'll see what we can do here on a pretty short Monday slate. First up, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds. They're going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Reds come into this game fresh off of finishing up that sweep of the Diamondbacks, a 4-2 win there in Game 3. Cincinnati up to 500 on the year. They're 33-33. They'll hand the ball in this game to Wade Miley, who has yet to figure out a result this season. This 38-year-old left-hander is going to be making his second start of the year, and it has to go better than his first one because his first one pretty mediocre there, guys. Back on the 4th, went 2 innings, gave up 6 hits and 4 earned runs in a 9-1 loss there at the Milwaukee Brewers. Or against the Milwaukee Brewers. That was a home game. This is a road game, so we'll see if that helps him out. Now, obviously, he's got to be better than that. That was rough. That was tough to watch. So we'll see what he can do here, on the road against the Guardians. The bullpen for the Reds continues to show signs of improvement, getting back to what they have been for most of the year. A 3.85 bullpen ERA is nowhere near the ceiling for this unit. They can be a very, very competent bullpen. The offense for the Reds is usually where the problems are at. They've scored 4, 13, 4, 1, and 4 runs over their last few games. So not, huge problems there. Ellie De La Cruz continues to hit the ball pretty well. They're still 8th in the majors in runs scored. They're 12th in on-base percentage, 12th in slugging percentage. I think we have to consider this slightly above average offense, which is not something that I was seeing coming into the season. So good job there for the Reds, figuring things out at the plate. We'll see what they can do here in Game 1 against the Cleveland Guardians, who are 34-30 on the season after that 4-2 win yesterday against the Astros. Now, that win snapped a 3-game losing streak, so that was a little bit rough. The Guardians have not had the easiest season. They'll hand the ball in this game to Luis Ortiz, who is 3-6 on the year, a 4.02 ERA. He's coming off of back-to-back very good starts, though. I mean, 6 innings, 7 hits, only 1 earned run against the Angels. Maybe you got a little bit lucky, but then 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed while striking out 7 and walking 3 at the Yankees in a 4-0 win. That definitely qualifies as an excellent start. Over his last 5 outings, we see that the Guardians are only 2-3, but he hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any of those starts. So really liking the way, Luis Ortiz is throwing the ball right now. Against the Reds the last time, that was back on the 18th of May. 5 innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 2 earned runs surrendered, struck out 7 and walked 2, and it was eventually a 3-1 loss. So we'll see what kind of run support he gets in this game, but I'm expecting him to be pretty decent. The bullpen for the Guardians, I mean, a 3.75 bullpen ERA wouldn't look bad, but with how dominant this bullpen was a season ago, it kind of leaves you wanting more. The offense for this team is problematic, guys. 4-3-2-0, 4-2, and 4 runs over their last few games. Does that sound like an elite offense to you guys? Because it does not sound like an elite offense to me. They're currently 24th in the majors in runs scored. They are 23rd in slugging percentage. They're batting .233 as a team. That's 24th in the majors. Jose Ramirez is doing his thing, but nobody else really is. So the Guardians gonna have to find a way to put up more runs. We'll see if that happens in this game. Not feeling like a lock to me. Now looking at the numbers, the Reds are plus 140. The Guardians are minus 165. We got a total of 8.5. The Reds are 15-17 on the road, 18-13-1 to the under on the road. Cleveland is 18-13 at home, 17-13-1 to the under at home. Guys, I don't hate taking the Guardians here at minus 165 with Ortiz on the mound against Wade Miley. Not somebody that I'm in love with, but I think a better play than that is to just take under 8.5. Ortiz has been really good recently. Neither offense, in this game impressed me too much. Wade Miley has to be a little bit better, and if the Reds take him out early, that bullpen can soak up a lot of innings and be absolutely fine. So under 8.5 looks like a very solid lean. Next on the docket, we've got the Miami Marlins going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Marlins come to this game fresh off losing 2 out of 3 there at Tampa Bay. We'll see how things work out down the stretch, but this Marlins team, not a team, not a franchise that was really created to compete, at least not this season. We'll see what they do here, handing the ball to Yuri Perez. This young guy, 22 years old, coming off the IL. We'll see what he can do in his first major league start of the season. Obviously, a little bit of a rough spot to be put in as a 22-year-old here, but he's going to be against the Pirates. They could have picked a tougher opponent, that's for sure. So I, think there's a decent shot he can come out and be okay, but I also think there's a great chance that he can come out and struggle. That's what you see quite often for somebody this age making their season debut. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, the bullpen for the Marlins has been a big problem. A 4.54 bullpen ERA is 7th worst in the majors. And the offense is nothing to write home about. 2, 11, 3, 2, 2, 4, and 2 runs over their last several games. You guys can kind of see the direction that's headed, and it is not a positive one. They're 23rd in the majors in runs scored, 21st in slugging percentage. I'm not exactly sure who I'm supposed to be scared of at the plate here for the Marlins. Not a very long list. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Pirates, who have to be feeling great coming off that 2-1 win against the Phillies. Skubal putting up another gem. Not getting the win, but what are you going to do? The Pirates are not going to be a team that's going to score a ton of runs for you, bud. They swept the Phillies. That's pretty wild. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They're only 26-40 on the season, though, so not exactly headed anywhere promising. They'll give the ball in this game to Mike Burrows, who's 1-1 this year, a 5.27 ERA. His last he's only made 3 starts this year, and his last one was his first good one. He struggled against Arizona, he struggled against Milwaukee, but then back on June 4th, 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no runs allowed, striking out 6 and walking 0 against the Astros in a 3-0 win. So maybe he's got things here figured out here a little bit going up against the Marlins. Definitely not the scariest team to face, I'll say that much. Now, the bullpen for the Pirates, maybe it's slightly improving. A 4.27 bullpen ERA doesn't fill me with tons of confidence, but at least they're pointed in the right direction. The offense for Pittsburgh is, it's not historically bad, but it's real bad, guys. They are 29th in runs scored. They are 30th in slugging percentage. They're batting .227 as a team. That is 27th in the majors. Andrew McCutchen is leading this team, batting .255. I don't have a lot of positive stuff to say about an offense that scored 2, 2, 5, 2, 3, and 0 runs over their last few games. It's not great. So looking at the numbers here, the Marlins are minus 130 or minus 103. The Pirates are minus 118. We've got a total of 8.5. The Marlins are 10-19 on the road, 17-12 to the over on the road. The Pirates are 17-18 at home, 18-16-1 to the under at home. I'm going to go ahead and fade a, guy making his first start of the season. It looks like Mike Burrows might be figuring things out. Obviously, the, Pirates come into this game playing some of their best ball of the season. So I'll take the Pirates at minus 118. And you could also maybe even talk me into an under 8.5. Neither offense gets me that excited. And if you think Perez could have a decent first outing of the year, the under seems like it could be live. Jumping in here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball has been our most profitable for the last 3 years running. Is off to a fantastic first half of the year. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks that are only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, and our premium top confidence picks, which might not always and will not always usually match what you see here in the video, as I am not the premium capper for StumpTheSpread.com. We have a guy with many more years of experience, some very complex tools and algorithms. He takes an insane amount of data points into consideration when making his play. So definitely get over there and check that out. But also get over to StumpTheSpread.com for all that free stuff we mentioned and to get on our free email newsletter. All you need for a free account is your name and your email address. That's it. We're not trying to get a bunch of your information out here just to get you on an email list. Being on that email list will get you one email straight to your inbox every single day with free picks, all kinds of information on like niche sports like golf, NASCAR, tennis, you name it. It's a possibility to be covered in there. Also, maybe what you guys will like the most is there are parlays included in there fairly often. No run first inning parlays, all kinds of UFC parlays, all kinds of good stuff in there. So definitely consider signing up for the email newsletter. And also, if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Channel members are eligible for our members only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member here on the 14th. So 6 days away, we'll be rolling for another giveaway. So definitely get in there if you're interested in that. And also, members get early access to all of our videos and get their names up on screen like you've been seeing right now. But let's go ahead and jump back into these games, guys. We're looking for some value on a pretty short slate out there on Monday. And next up, we're looking at the Chicago Cubs going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. The Cubs come into this game 40-25 on the season. Not their best showing there at Detroit in that 3-game series, losing 2 out of 3, but they'll try to bounce back here, handing the ball to Matthew Boyd, who's 5-3 on the year, a 3.01 ERA. Now, he's coming off a very good start. I mean, well, maybe very good is a little bit of an oversell, but 7 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs given up against the Nationals. Very good work. Unfortunately, got 0 runs to support and ended up being a 2-0 loss there for the Cubs. Now, he's been very good his last couple of starts. It's not to say he hasn't had his struggles this year, so we'll see what he can do against the Phillies, but they're a team that's had their issues recently, so Matthew Boyd might not be in the worst spot in this one. The Cubs' bullpen has improved drastically over the course of the season, down to a 3.39 bullpen ERA. That's, 9th or 10th in the majors. A huge turnaround from a bullpen that was having a lot of issues early on. So we'll see if they can keep that going here. We'll see if the Cubs offense can come back. They scored a grand total of 7 runs over 3 games against the Tigers. Not the best look there. Now, over the course of the year, this has been maybe the best there's a legitimate case to be made that they've been the best offense in the majors this season. They're first in runs scored. There's a great case right there. They're second in batting average, third in on-base percentage, and third in slugging percentage. Obviously, like Horner, just like Suzuki, tons of dudes hitting the ball extremely well for the Cubs. Maybe not yesterday, but in general, they've got some bats we can trust. So we'll see what they can do here against the Phillies, who are slumping hard. They now lost 5 in a row. They lost 2 in a row against the Blue Jays to finish off that series. Then got swept in Pittsburgh. Things are not looking great. Bryce Harper being on the IL, not helpful at all. They'll hand the ball in this game to Zach Wheeler, hoping that he can bounce back. Paternity situation there, so it sounds like he's going to start this game on Monday. Maybe he's going to get the little bump here from, having a baby. That can be a big, crazy thing. And he's fresh off of a terrible start. His worst start of the season probably there against Atlanta. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 earned runs surrendered. So I'm expecting a huge bounce back performance here from Wheeler. I think he'll be very, very good. It's against a Cubs team he hasn't faced this season, but I'm not too worried about that. I think he's going to go out there and throw the ball extremely well. Now, the Phillies bullpen is a concern. A 4.54 bullpen ERA keeps them in the bottom 5 or bottom 6 in the majors, and the offense has disappeared. They scored 1-1 for 1-1 runs over their last few games. I know you're missing Bryce Harper, but this cannot be what this offense looks like. This is embarrassing. You're still 9th in the majors in runs scored. You're still 9th in batting average. You're 8th in on-base percentage. This team has to wake up and hit the ball at some point. Will it be in this game? I would say there's a chance at least. And looking at the numbers here, the odds makers definitely think there's a chance that the Phillies are going to come alive. The Cubs are plus 128. The Phillies are minus 145. We've got a total of 7.5 in this one. The Cubs are 20-14 on the road, so a pretty solid road team. They are 18-14-2 to the over on the road. The Phillies are 19-12 at home, 16-15 to the over at home. Unfortunately, guys, I mean, it's a short slate, so I'll say it's got a chance, but I like the Phillies here at minus 145. They got to bounce back. They got to snap out of this at some point. Zach Wheeler being on the mound, coming off of having a baby, has to help at least a little bit. So give me the Phillies here at minus 145 with a decent chance to make it to the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Rays going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox. The Rays come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. They won 3-2 yesterday, so a close one for sure. We'll see what happens in this game as they hand the ball to Shane Baz, who comes into it 5-3 on the season, a 4.96 ERA. He did have some struggles there for a bit, but I would say his last 3 starts have been pretty reasonable for a 25-year-old out there on the Major League mound. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs in a 5-4 win there against the Rangers. Not a terrible look. Also, the Rays are 4-1 over his last 5 starts. We'll see what he can do here against the Red Sox. He has faced them once this year back on the 14th of April, and he was dominant. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, give up only a single run while striking out 11. That's probably his best start of the year, so we'll see if he can run it back against Boston. Maybe those good of numbers are a little bit unrealistic, but overall we've liked what we've seen from Shane Baz this year. Obviously, the bullpen for Tampa Bay has been another thing we've liked. 4th best in the majors, a 3.19 bullpen ERA. Not going to be crying about that. The offense isn't putting up crazy numbers. I mean, they did have a 10-run game where they lost against the Marlins, but 3-10, 4, 4, 5, and 5 over their last few. Not the end of the world. They're up to 12th in the majors in runs scored. They're 15th in slugging percentage, 15th in batting average. I think if this is an average offense, I think that's relatively okay for this team. So we'll see what they can do against the Red Sox, who come into this game fresh off of an 11-7 win last night on Sunday Night Baseball. Now, they did win 2 out of 3 in that series. They won 3 out of their last 4, but at 32-35 on the year, they find themselves looking up at Toronto, Tampa Bay, and the Yankees there in the AL East. The Red Sox will hand the ball in this game to Brian Bello, who's 2-1 on the year, a 3.91 ERA, but coming off a game where he pitched 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, and 3 earned runs against the Angels in a loss. Start before that, only went 4 2/3 innings against Milwaukee, gave up 2 runs, only 1 of which was earned, but that was in a loss as well. We'll see if he can get some run support, see what kind of bounce back he can put in here after a mediocre start against the light-hitting Angels, but Tampa Bay's swinging some pretty solid bats, and Brian Bello, kind of a guy I want to be fading at this point in the year because it hasn't looked great. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, the Red Sox bullpen has looked much better down the stretch, a 3.42 bullpen ERA. We're not here to complain about numbers like that. The offense for the Red Sox came alive as well. 11, 10, 6, 11, and 3 runs over their last few games. Obviously, no Bregman, back. We'll see what happens with this offense, but they're still 6th in the majors in runs scored and 6th in batting average. So I don't think we should say anything bad about them right now, especially when they've scored double-digit runs in 3 out of their last 4 games. So looking at the numbers here, the Rays are minus 105, the Red Sox are minus 115. We've got a total of 9 out there. Tampa Bay is 12-10 on the road. They are 13-9 to the under on the road. Boston is 17-16 at home, 17-14-2 to the under at home. I don't really like anything I'm seeing with the total on this game, but I'm going to lean a bit towards the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm more than happy to fade Brian Bello. We've got the Red Sox coming off of a night game and now playing the Rays. I mean, I guess it's another night game, but they did just play, a pretty, maybe emotional is wrong, but they played in New York. Now they got to play again, in Boston. That's not a huge travel spot, obviously, but the Rays are playing really well right now, and I think they've got the medicine to slow down Boston. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Atlanta Braves going on the road to take on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Braves are floundering, guys. They're 27-37 on the year. They've lost their last 7 in a row. They're hitting the ball to Chris Sale, hoping he can stem the tide here. He's 3-4 this year, a 2.93 ERA. He has been dazzling over his last 4 starts, giving up a total of 3 earned runs, never more than 1 in a game. And those starts were against Arizona, Philly, San Diego, and Boston. That's pretty crazy stuff. So we'll see what he can do here against Milwaukee. I'm expecting him to be absolutely lights out. I don't think that's going to surprise anyone. The Braves bullpen this season has actually been part of the problem as opposed to being part of the solution like they were a year ago. A 3.86 bullpen ERA, while not a disaster, is not great, and the offense for this team has not been there at all. That's probably their biggest problem this season. They're 22nd in runs scored. They are 19th in slugging percentage. They've scored a grand total of 3, 2, 4, 10, 1, and 3 runs over their last few games. In that game where they scored 10, they lost 11-10. That was that epic collapse. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Milwaukee Brewers, who come into this game 35-31 on the season. They just lost 2 out of 3 against the Padres, cooling off a bit after quite the hot run. They'll hand the ball in this game to Aaron Savale, who's 1-1 on the year, a 5.19 ERA. This is only his 5th start of the season, and so far he's looked pretty decent, struggling out of the gate, but that was against the Yankees, so we'll cut him some slack on that one. But a good start his last time out against the Reds. I guess giving up, 7 hits over 5 1/3 isn't amazing, but they did get the 3-2 win. So we'll give them a little bit of credit there. The bullpen for Milwaukee has not been super helpful. A 4.39 bullpen ERA, not great numbers there. And the offense, obviously coming off a game where they got shut out, looks a little bit bad. They are 10th in runs scored in the majors this season, but 26th in slugging and 22nd in batting average does not paint a picture of a great offense. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Braves are minus 182. The Brewers are plus 160. We've got totals of 7.5 or 8. Atlanta is 10-23 on the road. They are 16-15-2 to the under on the road. Milwaukee is 19-12 at home. 20-10-1 to the under at home. Guys, if there's still 8s out there, I think taking under 8 is extremely reasonable in this spot. Neither offense is any good. Sale is a monster. Savale is, well, not amazing, okay, good enough to take advantage of a terrible Braves offense. So definitely a good spot to look at the under, and if you wanted to look at the Atlanta Braves at minus 182, you definitely could. I'll be looking at them as, probably too sketchy of a spot, a possible, albeit slightly unlikely spot to be our lock of the day here on this very short slate. rolling right along here, guys, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays going on the road to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Blue Jays come into this game 35-30 on the season. Now, they lost their last game of the series at Minnesota, losing 6-3, but they'll try and bounce back in this one, handing the ball to Jose Berrios, who's 2-2 on the season, a 3.67 ERA. His last couple of starts have looked dominant. He's given up 1 earned run over his last 2 outings, 12-0 win against the Athletics, and a 2-1 win against the Phillies. Overall, I would say his last at least 4 starts have been very good. We'll see what he looks like here against the Cardinals, who have been, a pretty top-tier offense this season, and he did have some struggles in the early goings, but Berrios throwing the ball well right now. The bullpen for the Blue Jays, guys, has been very good this season. They're currently 5th in the majors, a 3.28 bullpen ERA. Offensively, this team struggled for a big chunk of the season, but that is all in the past. They're now 7th in batting average, 9th in on-base percentage, 11th in slugging percentage. They're 15th in runs scored, but that's a number that is on the upward trajectory. So we'll see what they do here on the road against the St. Louis Cardinals, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. That's a pretty nice look. They'll hand the ball in this game to Andre Palante, who's 4-3 on the season, a 4.91 ERA. He's in a bounce-back spot after getting shelled by Kansas City, but overall, we're not too disappointed with how he's looked this year. Obviously, he hasn't faced the Toronto Blue Jays yet this season, but he had a decent start against the Orioles in a 7-4 win, a decent start against, not a great start against the Mets. Actually, that was a pretty bad start. But overall, we've liked some of what we've seen from Andre Palante. So, looking at the bullpen for the Cardinals, that was a problem at the beginning of the year, and it's starting to get better. A 3.98 bullpen ERA, though, still going to need to get a good amount better than it has so far. Offensively, 3-2 and 5 runs against the Dodgers doesn't look great, but they did win 2 out of 3 in that series. They're still 7th in the majors in runs scored. They're 4th in the majors in batting average, batting .257 as a team, 6th in on-base percentage. They're looking like a pretty clutch hitting team, if I'm being honest, late in games. So looking at the numbers here, the Blue Jays are -115, the Cardinals are -105. We've got a total of 8.5. Toronto is 13-17 on the road. They are 16-13-1 to the under on the road. The Cardinals are 22-11 at home, 18-13-2 to the over at home. I'm going to lean a little bit towards the Cardinals here at home. They've just been way too good at home. Toronto struggled on the road. Berrios, maybe I should be trusting him, but I don't really trust him yet, and that Cardinals offense has looked great. I know Toronto's been a hot team, so none of this is going in the pinned comment, but the Cardinals at home are a different animal. Next on the docket, we've got the Sacramento Athletics going on the road to take on the LA Angels. The Athletics come into this game fresh off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. It seems like they might be out of that slump a little bit, but 26-41 on the year, they've got a long way to go. They'll hand the ball in this game to Jeffrey Spriggs, who's 5-4 on the year, a 4.66 ERA. Now, his last 3 starts probably have all been a little bit problematic. Also, the Athletics are 0-4 over his last 4 starts. His last amount, 4 runs, 3 of them are earned on 5 hits over 6 2/3 innings against the Twins, and it was eventually a 6-1 loss. So we'll see what he can do here against the Angels. Has he faced the Angels yet this season? No, he has not. So we'll see what he does here. Obviously, the bullpen is a bigger problem for the Athletics. A 5.99 bullpen ERA is worst in the majors, and the offense, well, it's coming back a little bit. 5, 4, 5, and 14 runs over their last few looks great. They're 12th in runs scored, 5th in batting average, 10th in on-base percentage, but haven't been, I don't know. They're good enough at the plate. That's not the problem, guys. This team struggles pitching. So we'll see what they do here against the Angels, who are 30-34 on the year. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Twins. They'll hand the ball to Yusei Kikuchi, who's 1-5 this year, but a 3.23 ERA. His last start, he struggled against the Red Sox, gave up 8 hits and 3 earned runs over 5 innings, but we saw the Angels eventually win that game 4-3, and the Angels are 4-1 over his last 5 starts. All of which, except for maybe that last one, he's looked very, very good in. So we'll see what he can do here against the Athletics. I'll be honest, I'm expecting him to be pretty darn good. The problem for this team's pitching staff is the bullpen. A 5.49 bullpen ERA is 3rd worst in the majors. And offensively, they've looked a lot better recently. We've seen, Mike Trout come back. That's been a big help. We've seen them just hit the ball better overall. They're 8th in slugging percentage, 18th in runs scored, but I don't know if I can chalk this up as an elite level offense, but they're not terrible. Unfortunately, we don't have any numbers yet for this game, so make sure you're checking back that pinned comment. There's a chance this one's going to end up in there for sure, as we have a very, very short slate here on Monday. Next up, we've got the LA Dodgers going on the road to take on the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers just got a series saver there, or a sweep saver there at the Cardinals, winning 7-3 in the last game of that series. Now they got to go to San Diego, so from St. Louis to San Diego, not the shortest flight. They'll hand the ball in this game to Dustin May, who comes into it 3-4 on the year, a 4.09 ERA. Gave up 2 earned runs on 6 hits over 6 innings against the Mets his last time out. That was a 4-3 extra inning loss for the Dodgers, but overall, I mean, he's had some good outings in his last 5, struggling against the Angels, which was weird, so we'll see what he can do here against the Padres, as he has not faced the Padres yet this season. So we'll see what Dustin May can do. Not somebody I hate, not somebody I love. In terms of the bullpen for the Dodgers, I'm trending towards hating it. With a 3.95 bullpen ERA, this pen is not nearly as good as the money being spent on it, and the offense, it's been struggling too. 7, 1, 0, 6, and 1 runs over their last few games. This is not what this offense is supposed to be doing. I mean, we'll see how they, look down the stretch. And obviously, this team hasn't been healthy in quite some time. They're still second in runs scored and first in batting average, so let's not freak out too much. They'll be taking on the Padres in this game, who are 37 and 27 on the year. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Brewers, winning Game 3 there thanks to a Machado solo home run. The Padres will hand the ball here to Nick Pivetta, who's 6-2 on the year, a 3.16 ERA. He looked bad against the Giants his last time out. That was a road game. We'll see if he bounces back and looks a little bit better at home. In terms of history against the Dodgers, none this season, so can't lean on that. But overall, Pivetta has been very, very good, and I'm expecting a good start from him in this one. I'm also expecting that Padres bullpen to be excellent. A 3.04 bullpen ERA is 3rd best in the majors. Offensively, that's a whole different story. They've scored 1, 3, 2, 2, 5, 3, and 1 runs over their last few games. They're 21st in runs scored. They are 14th in batting average, but 22nd in slugging percentage. Just not a team I can get super excited about when they're at the plate. So looking at the numbers here, the Dodgers are minus 120. The Padres are minus 105. We've got a total of 8. The Dodgers are 14 and 16 on the road. They're a 500 over-under team on the road. The Padres are 20 and 10 at home. They're 18, 11, and 1 to the under at home. It's a short slate, guys. We're going to be loading up here on the Padres at minus 105. I don't want to do it. I don't like playing the Padres here at all, but I'm going to take them. It just seems like the right spot. The Dodgers just traveled, pretty lengthy travel. The Padres, I'm not nearly as worried about the situation for them. They played at Milwaukee, and now they're going to play at home, so I guess it's a similar travel spot, so that's actually pretty annoying, but I still like the Padres here a little bit more than I like the Dodgers. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Seattle Mariners going on the road to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Mariners managed to salvage 1 win there in their 3-game series at the Angels. So, yeah, a crazy, crazy game there from Kirby, putting up 14 strikeouts in his first even decent start of the year. He goes nuts. The Mariners will hand the ball in this one to Emerson Hancock, who's 2-2 on the year, a 5.19 ERA. His last start was great against Baltimore. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run allowed. I mean, over his last 4 starts, he's looked pretty decent. We'll see what it looks like in this one against the Diamondbacks. Definitely not an easy team to face, but we'll see. We'll see which version of Emerson Hancock we get in this game. Now, the bullpen for Seattle has been taking its lumps recently, up to a 3.74 bullpen ERA, but I do think that's a number that's going to come back down. Will it come back down right away? We'll see what happens in this game. The offense, 14th in runs scored, 21st in batting average, 13th in on-base percentage. They scored 3, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1 runs over their last few. Not a team that's swinging the hot bats they were swinging early in the year. So we'll see what they do on here on the road against the Diamondbacks, who just got swept by the Reds. They're going back home, so maybe they can turn things around here, handing the ball to Merrill Kelly, who's 6-2 on the season, a 3.43 ERA. His last start, he was lights out at Atlanta, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, struck out 8, walked 1 in a 2-1 win for the Diamondbacks. So we'll see what he looks like in this one. Over his last 5 starts, I would say 3 of them have been amazing and 2 of them have been pretty mediocre. Going up against the Mariners here, not a team he's faced yet this season, but I think Merrill Kelly's in for a pretty good start. The bullpen is a problem for Arizona. A 5.28 bullpen ERA. I'm not going to say completely embarrassing, but it's actually pretty embarrassing. And the offense has taken a bit of a break. 2, 1, and 3 runs, respectively, there at Cincinnati. Not a good look for a team that's supposed to be amazing offensively. They're 4th in runs scored and 4th in on-base percentage, but we're not swinging the bats like it. So looking at the numbers here, the Mariners are minus 115. The Diamondbacks are plus 100. We've got a total of 9.5. Seattle is 17 and 14 on the road. They're a 500 over-under team on the road. Arizona is 15 and 17 at home, 16, 13, and 3 to the under at home. I think this is a pretty decent spot to take Arizona at plus 100. Not a lot of great dog of the day options out there, so this could end up being our dog of the day at plus 100. Not even a real underdog, but hey, we'll still take it. I think Arizona's got a very real chance in this game. Merrill Kelly is a solid starter. Hancock's been all over the place this year, so definitely think it's a good spot to look at those Diamondbacks. Unfortunately, that's all the games we have for you here on a very short Monday slate. Do me a huge favor, hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I appreciate you guys watching. Click the link in the description to get over to stumpthespread.com. Get on that free email list. It's absolutely free, guys. Definitely get over there. Take advantage of that. It's great information straight to your inbox every single day. Guys, we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place, with a full slate this time, and we'll be giving you more sports betting action.